People can be interesting. They can be super nice and chill 1 minute, but then 2 seconds later they just pummel you with the most evil things imaginable. I got a pretzel from Auntie Anne's one time and it was so obviously burnt, like it was black and extremely dry, and the cashier was like, deal with it. And I never went to Auntie Anne's again. Just kidding. Now when someone does us wrong, our mind may jump to revenge or some form of retaliation. It's almost like something is off in the universe or incorrect and we must correct this mistake in the name of justice. And we try to convince ourselves that revenge is the best option. After all, they f***ed around and now they're about to find out. But hold it, says 16th century English philosopher Francis Bacon, whose opinion we've always taken into consideration. He wants to argue against revenge and also has some other considerations about the topic that we'll look into for today's video. So Francis Bacon has this collection of essays on different topics, and one of them is obviously on revenge. He also has one on gardens for all you horticulturalists out there. Now, although many of these essays are hard to understand, thankfully he sets out his overall point for us at the very start of the essay. Certainly, in taking revenge, a man is but even with his enemy, but in passing it over, he is superior. For it is a prince's part to pardon, and Solomon, I am sure, saith, it is the glory of a man to pass by an offense. So revenge is inferior to passing over the offense, whatever that may mean. I don't think this necessarily means forgiving someone for the offense, but it could be. At the very least, it seems like it's superior to move on. You don't have to condone anything, but you don't have to punish either. Now after hearing this, you might think about some horrible offense that has been committed against you. It might fill you up with so much rage to make you say, you know what, Francis Bacon? Go f*** yourself. Why in the hell should I pass over this thing that someone did to me? Well, he gives us 3 specific arguments for passing over the offense, but also 2 considerations for those who still want to go through with revenge. Now, argument number 1 is that revenge mainly deals with the past, and better people will focus on the present. That which is past is gone and irrevocable, and wise men have enough to do with things present and to come. Therefore they do but trifle with themselves that labor in past matters. Now to be fair, I think Bacon's being a little simplistic here. Sure, there are wrongs that have no effect on the present, like that time at Auntie Anne's, but there can also be wrongs committed against you that can greatly hurt the rest of your life. If someone is on TikTok while driving and accidentally runs you over and forever paralyzes you over a short clip of someone dancing, that's not only frustrating, but presently will affect you. But maybe Bacon's point is that what's done is done and nothing you can do can fix that. Like you can't go into the past and prevent the harm that was done. And even if you do get revenge on someone for what they did, that doesn't erase the effects of their action. Long story short, I don't think it's so clear that revenge deals with the past because the harm can still affect your present. But maybe I'm wrong, let me know what you think. So argument number 2 is about why the wrong was committed in the first place. There is no man doth a wrong for the wrong's sake, but thereby to purchase himself profit, or pleasure, or honor, or the like. Therefore, why should I be angry with a man for loving himself better than me? Now, when you think of a wrong, it usually can be traced back to the person gaining something from committing that wrong. Even in my Auntie Anne example, the person gains the ability to be lazy and get rid of the burnt pretzels. And because it's not a very radical idea that people are generally self-interested, we shouldn't be surprised when people commit wrongs against us. It's just the way it is. I guess reflecting on this point might lead you to accepting that wrong more, but I could also see it as not being sufficient. Like, let's say you get mugged. Thinking about how that person may need the money more than you and how they're only acting in their self-interest probably won't console you. You might wonder why they couldn't act in their self-interest in a more moral and less harmful way. I mean, maybe it helps to not take it personally. Like the mugger wasn't out to personally hurt you, but to get something else. But other times, someone may harm us because they actually hate us. Like there are some crimes that are done not for personal gain, but to inflict pain. So how does Bacon respond? Well, he claims that wrongs committed for the wrong itself are done because it's in the person's nature. But not only does this seem like a questionable point, but I also don't see this as being very persuasive for someone who's been done wrong. But again, let me know in the comments if you do find Bacon to be right here. Now, argument number 3 is specifically about our friends and when they do us wrong. Cosmus, Duke of Florence, had a desperate saying against perfidious or neglecting friends, as if those wrongs were unpardonable. You shall read, saith he, that we are commanded to forgive our enemies, but you never read that we are commanded to forgive our friends. But yet the spirit of Job was in a better tune. Shall we, saith he, take good at God's hands, and not be content to take evil also, and so of friends in a proportion? Basically, when it comes to friends, we gotta take the good with the bad. Now, this doesn't mean forgive your friends for any wrongdoing they cause, and this doesn't mean that they can never cross the line that makes you reevaluate your entire friendship. Or maybe it does mean that, which in that case this is all just me. Instead, don't get revenge or punish a friend for doing wrong, but rather talk it through with them. Be honest about your feelings and try and work through it. If anything, it can actually strengthen your friendship if you both work through this obstacle. But again, this is heavily dependent on the wrong that your friend caused and how often it occurs. If it's a serious problem that keeps happening after you call them out, then maybe it's time to end the friendship. But if it's not that serious and it's the first time, then talk it out. Alright, so those are the 3 arguments against revenge. But there are also 2 considerations that Bacon wants to give us to, consider if you really are committed to revenge. First off, make sure the wrong that you're trying to correct has no legal remedy. The most tolerable sort of revenge is for those wrongs which there is no law to remedy. But then, let a man take heed the revenge be such as there is no law to punish, else a man's enemy is still beforehand, and it is 2 for 1. Let me also just, quick disclaimer here, I personally don't support revenge, but this is just Bacon. That being said, Bacon thinks it's relatively less bad to get revenge for something where there is no legal remedy. So going back to elementary school days, if someone puts a whoopee cushion under your chair for an office meeting and embarrasses you, there's not really a legal remedy for that. I mean, you could try for intentional infliction of emotional distress, but that's a long shot. So maybe it's less bad to get a whoopee cushion under them next time. But you know, this is going off the assumption that revenge and the legal world are somehow separate. I mean, can't you file a lawsuit motivated by revenge? I don't know. I can see pursuing legal action as a form of revenge, especially in a country that loves to sue people. And finally, if we do pursue revenge, Bacon believes we should at least let them know who it's from. Some, when they take revenge, are desirous that the party should know whence it cometh. This is the more generous, for the delight seemeth to be not so much in doing the hurt, as in making the party repent. I guess this is pretty straightforward. Like if you retaliate by stealing their lunch from the fridge, they don't exactly know who or why this happened, except that someone in the office is a greedy piece of shit. But if you steal their lunch after they stole your lunch and have a little post-it note in there saying now we're even, they'll be reminded of exactly what they did wrong, which means they might apologize. Anyway, that's Francis Bacon's essay on revenge. Kind of a mixed bag for me, but if it helps you rethink your grand revenge plans, then it's a win in my book. If you enjoyed the video, then like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more philosophy content. And with that, I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day.